I'm usually to the right. You gotta flip, huh? You gotta stop that. Let's just.
I just did too.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being patient while we all use the restroom. We started a little bit late. Welcome to tonight's Board of Education meeting. We have a quorum. I'd ask everybody to please rise to a pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Before we get into the meeting tonight, I just would like to recognize our associates at the Farmingdale School District. We have been in contact with them. We support them 100%, and we are with them every step of the way on their healing journey. With that, can I get approval of the minutes, please?
Motion to approve the minutes listed in the motion.
Second?
Moved and seconded on the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, is there any correspondence? Yes.
Correspondence was received from Congressman Anthony D'Esposito, and email correspondence was received from Diane Catrone and Richard Lovell.
Thank you. Do I have any slips for the agenda items? Thank you. Dr. LaRocca, please give us the report of the superintendent.
Thank you, President Oliveri. Good evening. Welcome to the September meeting of the Board of Education.
Before we get started with tonight's presentation, I just wanted to introduce to everyone our new Director of Security, Mr. Joseph Napolitano. Mr. Napolitano comes to us from the Altaris Group, who has been assisting us with security, and he has been with us since the beginning of the school year. And I'll ask everyone to check back in December when him and I will have a full report on district safety and security. So thank you for coming.
Thanks, Darlene.
Next, I would like to introduce Mrs. Gervasi, the summer school principal, and her counterparts, Mrs. Burns, Mrs. Gorman, and Mrs. Barnick, for our presentation on summer programs.
Good evening. It was a very busy summer here at Valley Street 13. We had over 500 students join us in one or more of our summer programs. As summer principal, I had the honor of working alongside 3 very talented and dedicated lead teachers who created programs that allowed our students to thrive. Maureen Burns, our extended school year lead teacher, Paula Barnick, our E&L lead teacher, and Diane Gorman, our lead teacher of summer AIS and summer readiness. You will get to hear from each of those teachers as they share highlights from their programs. But first, I would like to share some highlights from our summer rec program. Our program ran from July 5th through August 4th, daily from 9 to 12:20 at James A. Deaver. This year, we had over 300 students enrolled, our highest enrollment in years. And with that many students, it took more than 60 counselors, junior counselors, and volunteers to care for our children. Students entering grades K to 7 spent their days getting to know their grade level peers from across the district as they enjoyed some bounce house fun, mad science sessions where they studied such topics as the solar system, archaeology, and chemistry. We enjoyed music and dance lessons, and of course our favorite, Friday field trips to bowl at Sandy Lanes or watch a movie courtesy of the Malvern Movie Theater. Our summer concluded with our DJ dance party and summer showcase, where our 3rd graders showed off their newfound recorder skills, and dancers of all ages were finally able to perform the dances they worked so hard on all summer long.
Our extended school year program is our special education program in the district. It ran 6 weeks from July 3rd to August 11th. We had 5 classes and 1 resource room teacher. We had 4 speech teachers, an occupational therapist, and a physical therapist. Students were invited based on their IEP recommendations made at their annual review meetings. Each day, classes had morning meetings as used in the responsive classroom to ensure their social and emotional needs were being met, and students worked daily to maintain their IEP goals. Some summer highlights that we had this year was Miss Kazada every day brought her guitar to play morning meeting songs, and watching the children play the guitar alongside her was really magical every day. Mrs. Ciccioli had her class perform a talent show where we saw things like a drum player, dancers, mathematicians, all get on the stage and perform for all of their peers. Mrs. Polanco had a tie-dyeing session where her students were able to use their fine motor skills to tie-dye t-shirts in the last week. And finally, we had Splish Splash Bash at the end of our program where students were able to use their fine and gross motor skills to play outside and really culminate our whole program. Here's just some photos of our fun, and here's our Splish Splash Bash. Thank you.
From the short one here. So. Good evening. Thank you so much for letting me be here to
tell you about the English as a New Language program this past summer. So we had 61 English language learners, which is up from 46 last summer. And from all of our 4 buildings, they attended, and you can see the various languages, the home languages that are spoken by our students that attended the program. They also ranged in English language proficiency from very recent beginners, newcomers to our country, to advanced. We were very fortunate to change our model a little bit because as English language teachers, our goal is not only to teach our children how to speak, understand, read, and write English, but to understand the content that they are engaged in the classroom. So this summer we had the opportunity to do that by having an early childhood educator, Ms. DeVore, with us. And we also had our mathematics specialist, Mr. Mayer, join us, as well as Ms. Devona, a reading specialist, and then Ms. Suzanne and myself are both English as a New Language teacher. So that provided the children with the opportunity to exercise all different skills within their content areas. In addition, I had some adults that attended classes with me, so that is always a wonderful addition to get to have some of the family members come in and help them not only learn English, but just get acclimated to the district. So, how do we build our day with all these different teachers from different areas, different language proficiencies and backgrounds? We really strive to build a community of learners by using the responsive classroom approach. That is the best way, in my opinion, to, and as evidenced in our program, to build that level of trust, which is essential for English language learners, especially to lower their affective filter and for them to take the risks involved with using their second or maybe third or fourth language of English. So we had morning meetings and also a use of energizers and our closing circles. The classroom was inside and outside, as you can see on the grounds of Howell Road. We also had book giveaways constantly for our students to take home books to bring home and exercise their literacy skills at home. And various hands-on activities that engage them throughout the day. But I'm just going to pause for a moment here. Because how can we bring this all together, like under one umbrella, if we have all these wonderful differences? We also have a lot of commonalities, so as we collaborate as teachers, we plan a theme. I'm going to give you a hint to our theme. I can't resist the microphone. Let me ask you a question. Who are the people in your neighborhood? In your neighborhood? In your neighborhood? Who are the people in your neighborhood? Why, they're the people that you meet each day. Next slide, please, if you can't guess it. Community helpers was our theme. So, although we don't have the opportunity to go out into the community during our program, we brought the community into us. And you can see we reached out to our 5th Precinct officers who came in for a wonderful visit, as well as the Elmont Fire Department. Firefighter Omar was super, and not only did he present about being a firefighter, he spoke in Punjabi, he spoke in Urdu. It was just such a great connection for the students. We also had a gardener from the Oyster Bay Planting Fields come and visit with us. And we also had nurses from New York Presbyterian Columbia Hospital. So the main goal for this was to provide our students with meaningful context to use their language and to spiral up and use an expanded vocabulary on a continuous basis throughout the days of the program. It all culminated with an event that we had where we invited families in to showcase some of the writing that the children had done, some of the songs that they had learned. And by the results of our survey, we were very happy to hear the children filled out a survey, and they mentioned that consistently that they were very happy to come to school and that they liked the different teachers, having the different teachers even at such a young age. As well, the families, one of the best comments I thought we had was that they found the program so valued because of the teachers who were engaging and welcoming, and that's really what we strived for in the program. So I want to thank everyone for the opportunity to have this program and hope that you will continue to support it for our multilingual learners. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Diane Mormon, and I was the lead teacher for the summer AIS readiness program this summer. It was a great position for me because I had experience as a teacher last year in the program, so being the lead this year, I felt like I hit the ground running. And our focus this year was primarily on literacy and the 4 components of literacy: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Again, we started every day with a morning meeting. In order to launch this program, it was also, a data-driven program. For incoming kindergartners, these little 4-year-olds, we worked on their letter naming fluency. For first graders, they were assessed on nonsense words. And believe it or not, that skill is ultra important because if they're able to connect the letter sound, they're able to blend these sounds whether they recognize the word or not. I'm not following the slides, I'm so sorry. And then for grades 2 through 6, we focused on fluency. But to go back to my slides and stay focused, it says the program was designed to offer support. Exactly, the teachers assessed them. We gave targeting instruction on decoding, vocabulary development, reading comprehension, and writing. Those were the main components. And we also emphasized on every student walking away from the program with a toolkit. If the students learned something in class that day, how to deconstruct text, how to gain meaning from, a passage, they walked away with that information so that they can take it home with them. And I also want to focus quickly on the fun. I know I'm not following the slides, I apologize. But we worked on, having fun outside. We had recess every day. We had summer spirit days where it was character days. Babayo McIntosh helped us organize a book giveaway, which was really, everyone was so excited, and they were taking books for themselves, their siblings, their cousins, their friends that they were visiting, someone who might like this book, it was great. One teacher, I think, brought in, a hermit crab, and they had reading buddies, and they wrote about the hermit crab. It was really great. We had a lot of fun and a lot of laughs, and the staff was great. We had, I think, 16 teachers. That's on my first slide. We had 16 teachers, and we had one occupational therapist, Shirley Filzene, who worked with the incoming kindergartners, who was wonderful. We had, a couple of criers every day, and she was able to work her magic. She, a lot of fun, a lot of laughs this summer. So I really think the students, the teachers, the parents, we had a lot of fun. And there we are. All right, thank you.
And that concludes our presentation.
Does the board have any questions?
I have a question.
Trustee DeSantis?
For Ms. Barnett?
I don't know where that's coming from.
Use Patty's paperwork.
Ms. Barnick, I know that I saw on your slide that it target kindergarten through 2nd grade. Were there any children from 3rd or 6th grade in the program, or did I misread your
Can I
slide?
answer from here? Or
Yeah,
should I answer
yeah.
from it was K to 6. I apologize if I misheard.
Maybe I
said
just
that was
misheard.
early. Yes, it's
Okay.
kindergarten through 6th grade.
Were there a lot of incoming new students,
Yes,
recently arrived students?
yes, there absolutely were. And we really try to, advocate for the program for these children, especially the newcomers. We did have students that came in the spring, so it really is advantageous for them to attend the program in the summer to get them ready for the school year. So we had the whole gamut of proficiency levels.
Thank you very much
Thank you.
for that program and everything you do with the students.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. No question, just a comment. I mean, my children were there. That was the most fun they had. And every time I went, every week there was something. Whether it was bouncing houses, they were doing something every week. They loved it. They saw friends from school. They made new friends that they happened to be in the class with. So thank you for everything they did. It was a really great thing.
Yes. Let's get my glasses on. Okay. Based on public comment from the August meeting, I'd like to share more information on how stakeholders in the district have a voice through our decision-making processes that may ultimately end as action that's taken by the Board of Education at a public meeting. The opening of school this year has been a great success so far. Our students and staff are working diligently as always, and it's hard to believe that we will be wrapping up the first month of school at the end of this week. Certainly the weather has been changing, and we officially passed the autumn equinox this Saturday. I attended the Deaver picnic hosted by the PTA on Friday, and I would like everyone to learn more about your school's PTA and to think about attending some of the fabulous events that take place at each school building. Our PTA volunteers are second to none, and they help ensure that students have amazing memories from these special social events. I know there are a few trunk or treats coming up in the next round of activities. In that same spirit of school involvement, I'd like to share ways that you, as a teacher, parent, or student, have a voice in shaping what happens across the district. In addition to the PTA, there are other ways to participate in conversations that take place. One of the tools that we leverage to gather information from a wide audience is the Thought Exchange platform. Most recently, we asked the Willow community what they were looking for in a new school leader. The valuable information collected was used throughout the committee process when evaluating candidates for the new principal position. These hiring committees also included parents, students, and staff members. District committees are another common way that we include teachers and parents in the decision-making process. In addition to the hiring committees, these committees include curriculum and instruction, professional development, nutrition, and the Unity Committee, just to name a few. District administration works closely with the PTA to access parent volunteers for committee work, and within the district, staff members receive interest surveys to join committees voluntarily. Committees meet regularly and have charges to guide their work. For example, with a charge of reviewing the ELA program, the Curriculum Instruction Committee worked last year to review existing needs and determine what next steps to take. At the conclusion of their work, they made a recommendation through the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction to adopt a new Wonders program. I review the committee's report as superintendent, and I subsequently provide my support for their recommendation to the Board of Education, along with supporting information for the board from the work of the committee. It's then up to the Board of Education to determine our local curriculum through action taken at a meeting. From start to finish, stakeholders in the district moved this work forward and had input into the decision-making process. For anyone who is interested in committee participation, you can reach out to PTA leadership, or you can contact central office administrators directly. You can find the central office administration information on our website. And community members will also find that we have a community notification sign up on our website that allows community members who don't have children in the school to receive periodic alerts about the district, such as Board of Education meeting notifications. So I encourage anyone who is interested in learning more to reach out directly or to join our notification list. Thank you, President Olveri. That concludes the report of the superintendent.
Thank you, Dr. Laraka. We're going to move forward with the Education Committee report. Vice President Cavallari.
Good evening. I move item 1, appointment of building principal. Be it hereby resolved that the Board of Education of Valley Stream Union Free School District 13 appoints Cindy Gervasi to a 4-year probationary appointment as principal, commencing on October 13, 2023, at the annual salary listed in the motion. Be it further resolved that the Board understands that the appointee certification status is as follows: school building leader. Be it further resolved that the Board anticipates that the expiration date of this probationary appointment will be October 12, 2027, provided that the appointee has received composite overall annual professional performance review ratings pursuant to the education law listed, either effective or highly effective in at least 3 of the 4 preceding years, and has not received an ineffective rating in the final probationary year.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded on the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Gervasi, thank you for the work you have done and the work you will continue to be doing in this district in your new role. Congratulations.
I move line item 2, appointment of classroom teacher, to appoint Kabrina Tisavali as a classroom teacher on step 1 MA for the amount listed in the motion on 4-year probation commencing on August 31st, 2023 and expiring on August 30th, 2027.
Second. Moved and seconded on the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I understand that Ms. Tassavelli is not in attendance, but welcome. You're welcome.
I move line item 3, appointment of classroom teacher, to appoint Amanda Picillo as a classroom teacher on step 1 MA for the amount listed in the motion on 4 years probation commencing on August 31st, 2023 and expiring on August 30th, 2027.
Second. Moved and seconded on the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Welcome, Ms. Picillo, also not in attendance.
I move line item 4, amendment to appointment. Resolve the Board of Education hereby amends the appointment of Victor DiNocola as a part-time physical education teacher to a .4 as follows: .2 physical education, .1 library, and .1 art effective August 31st, 2023.
Second. Moved and seconded on the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move as a consent agenda items 1 through 14. Which is on page 6.
Moved and seconded. On the question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda carries.
That concludes the education.
Thank you, Vice President Cavalieri. Business Committee, Trustee Farrell.
Good evening, everyone. I move item 1, the approval of the budget calendar for the 23-24 school year.
Second.
Moved and seconded. On the question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And that concludes the Business Committee report.
Thank you, Trustee Farrell. Policy Committee, Trustee Vicente.
Good evening, everyone. The Policy Committee has a first reading, Policy 3230E, Organizational Chart. And that's just for first reading. And that concludes the Policy Committee.
Thank you, Trustee Vicente. Facilities Committee, Vice President Cavalieri.
Nothing to report on facilities committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's keep it going with Committee of the Whole.
It's me. I move as a consent agenda 1 through 4.
Second.
Moved and seconded. On the question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda carries. Thank you, Vice President Cavalieri. Mr. Shishko, anything to report this morning?
Yes. Tonight I provided the district clerk with a report regarding the matter in which our office defended a school district, not this school district, but a school district in a challenge. A parent challenged the district's decision to require the student to attend the school where they were zoned on the basis that they had a preference for a school in another zone. The school said that they had to follow their policy on attendance zones, and the commissioner upheld the school's decision.
Thank you very much. High school report. I would like to congratulate Trustee Vicente on being the president of the high school board this year. Would you like to give me a report? I'm sorry, Madam President, I did not come prepared for the report today. Did any of the other trustees have anything to report, or we're just kind of getting going like we are here?
No, nothing this month. We'll start.
Excellent. Congratulations. Any old business? Let's see. Yes, the NISBA resolution. So considering that there are 56 of them, I just would like to know if anybody would like Trustee Grasso, who is going to be attending this meeting on our behalf, to vote in a way contrary to the NISBA recommendations. Okay, so you know what you have to do. Thank you very much for undertaking this responsibility for us. New business. We had an inquiry about exit interviews, I believe.
Yes, before I go into that, I'd like to make a motion. Upon 48-hour notice to the superintendent and the school principal, any board member may visit any school or any other facility under its jurisdiction. Such board member visits to school properties in furtherance of their given responsibilities and authorities by the New York State Department of Education. Visiting board members will follow procedures as outlined in the district safety plan. Concerns or opinions related to the education program in individual school buildings shall be directed to the superintendent of schools. Visiting board members will report any findings, if anything, to the next Board of Education monthly board meetings.
You're making a motion to add it to the agenda, right?
No, I'm making the actual motion for a vote by the board.
So we would need a second before we discuss it, or?
You need a second to discuss it, but you're a small board, so you're allowed to vote on any motion presented by any board. You don't actually need a second.
Well, we follow Robert's rules, so I need a second.
Because you're a small board. You should have a second. If you don't have a second, then generally.
Okay, so I'm gonna look for a second on this motion. Do I get one?
I make a motion to table it so I can understand what trustee Benelli is looking for and propose it to us prior to, and so I can look at the verbiage.
I agree with that. I'd like to see it in writing.
I'll second trustee Cavaleri's motion to table.
Okay, so on trustee Cavaleri's motion to table, trustee Benelli's motion, all those in favor?
What about the first motion? Shouldn't it be
You didn't get a second, so we're not discussing it.
No, a motion to table is an intervening motion, so if the
Oh.
motion to table carries, then it's tabled until the next board.
Yeah, the motion is to table it.
Okay, so since that's an intervening motion, that would
Second,
carry your
the
motion
information.
over to the next meeting so that you can actually provide us that motion in writing so we can read it and discuss it.
I have copies if you want. Okay.
I don't think now is
Okay.
the appropriate
But I'd
time.
like to make it educated.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you.
So moved and seconded on tabling the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Trustee Benelli, please submit that to everyone in writing.
Will do.
Thank you very much. On to exit interviews.
Yeah, so the thinking behind that is basically, good business practices. We give the opportunity for the Board of Trustees to hear unfiltered, constructive, and, any criticisms they may have during their employment. This is like not an unusual policy to have an exit meeting, especially with critical managerial positions as a principal or as an assistant superintendent, all the way down the line, critical staff, security.
So are you asking if we conduct exit interviews?
Well, no, by policy, we would institute a policy that would require an exit interview with the said person who's retiring or quitting, resigning, what have you. So during their last weeks of service, they would be scheduled for a exit meeting with the Board of Trustees. Whether it's a special meeting that's called for by the board, or it would be held by the next monthly board meeting.
So that's something you would like the policy committee to look into?
Yes. Well, right now, how does the board feel about such a policy?
I'll make a motion to set the policy because I would like to know your thoughts on what levels. We would have to set criteria. Do you want to exit interview retirees or just people that are leaving for some cause?
No, just as a policy,
But what I'm asking is, again, but there should be some type of protocol where you are going to exit interview a person retiring after 30 years into the school system, or we just abrupt leaving, like they're here 2 years and they decide to leave. We're curious of why they're leaving. So I think we need some type of, I don't think it's a bad idea, I'm just trying to think, I don't think we need to do
Well,
everyone.
why don't we ask Judith
Right.
if she conducts exit interviews first and foremost?
The Assistant Superintendent for Business and Human Resources conducts exit interviews with employees who are leaving the district.
Right.
I think Trustee Benelli is asking for board members to be involved. That's
Right, independent administration, the Board of Education would actually have not one, it would be 7 on 1 exit meeting. So they would be uninhibited to share any, constructive criticism, what have you.
I would like to see it go to the policy committee, policy be set.
Madam?
You use Patty's?
No, it's that everybody's line.
Oh,
okay. So I do think it is a policy committee and issue, and I would like for us to take that on, and we will have a discussion with the superintendent and the attorney. So what I would ask is Trustee Benelli to please provide the policy committee your thought, and if there is anything specific that you're looking for us to address in that particular policy, to let us know so that we could address it then and there. Okay?
Question for the attorney? So how does this work? I mean, what kind of guidelines? I mean, obviously I can't have a back and forth via emails. We're in a public meeting right now, so how do I just simply, in the beginning, just outline what the justification for such a exit meeting is, and then we take it on there for the next open meeting? How does this work?
Madam President, may I clarify my statement? It's not for you to give us direction as to what you want, but if you're looking for a specific, just like Trustee Cavalieri said, you know, who do you want this policy to address? There's so many employees here. Do you want everybody? Do you want just administration? Do you want teachers? Those type of details is what I'm seeking in order to be able to provide something that is satisfactory to your request.
Is this a topic for executive session because it's legal advice? I generally give the legal advice during executive session. If I give legal advice during a public session, it's not privileged. It's up to the board to decide whether you'd like me to answer the question in public or in executive session.
Okay. All right, so I'll do it basically in an email. I'll just make an outline. But basically, it should just be, you know, it would be administrative staff. You wouldn't be doing exit meetings with teachers. It would be with the administration staff.
Madam
And
President,
management.
Madam President, I make a motion that our attorney provide legal advice during executive session.
There's a motion on the floor.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Christopher, you provide info on for the next executive. Okay. Next item under new business is seating. Page 8. Under N, new business, number 2.
Trustee Bernard, correct?
I don't know, was it?
I believe.
Wait, what's the motion?
Seating?
Oh, seating. Oh, yeah. So, like tonight, who decides the basic? I don't want to make any assumptions. When I look at the videos at home, there's a lot of, you know, the camera, thanks to Ms. Domingo, you know, shifting of the cameras to the person who's speaking. When I look at 24 or 30s recordings, even the high school, and in fact, even ours, years earlier, you'd have the entire board captured in the camera. There wouldn't be this, you know, moving, you know, from left to right. My question is, why do we have ample room? Why not have all the tables like in sync to fit?
Okay.
And also, if you can't fit them all, you can just move the camera back 3 or 4 rows.
I can address all that with you. Our board policy says that the district clerk, along with the board official, which would be me, selects the seating of the board. Okay? This setup is for a few different reasons, but first we'll talk about acoustics in this auditorium, which other districts do not have an issue with. We do now have these new microphones, but the further back that we pan the camera, the acoustics are off. So I don't know whether it's more important to see people or hear people. I would argue that I think what the words are being said need to be clear. Second, as far as seating, I like this setup. You know why? If we're all sitting in a line, I have to go like this to see you, and our job is to have discussions. When we have discussions, I want to look at the person that's talking. I want them to know that what they're saying is important to me, and what I'm going to say is important to them. And if you're sitting in a line, I can't do that. Now, this was initially done during COVID, but I like it because I feel like it makes us have, it's like a half a round table, which is what we're supposed to be doing. And the seating facilitates that. Now, Andrea does do her best to get the speaker on camera, but for me, this, I think, is the best way to foster communication effectively between us and acoustically effectively on record, the recording.
But 2 points. you made a focus on the clarity of the audio, and I think you said something that's more important than the visual. You also said that, you know, we now have these microphones, so placement of the microphones could be easily done if we're all set in a row. But
It's the acoustics of this with these microphones,
But the acoustics will be the same.
with the camera in the back of the room. I beg to differ with you.
No. I mean, this microphone's right in front of me right now. If the microphone's in front of me over there, it'll be the same. There'll be no difference.
What if I just said, I pick the seating? Because I do.
Yeah, I'm
This
just
is the way I
throwing out-
like it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just throwing out there my experience looking on the videos on the computer at home and looking at 24 and 30. The public gets to see the whole board. They can't, you know, they don't have to watch the camera going from left to right and right to left.
Why is that important to you?
Oh, how's that important? Well, the person who's watching the video.
Not how, why? Why is that important to you?
No.
If
So
Andrew is
the public-
panning to you when you're speaking, then
No, so
what is the
public-
difference?
No, the difference is that the public would get it's a better video if the camera's not shifting from left to right. You don't agree with that?
Better based on your opinion?
Yeah, obviously, that's what.
Oh, okay.
I want to brought it up.
And in my opinion, it's not. So I like this setup, and this is how it's going to be until June. But thank you.
Madam President,
Yes.
I want to thank you for sitting us this way as being a president prior. And as you said, when we were in COVID, having everyone sit straight was very, very difficult. And I do think that this is a great way to see us when we're responding, because I know how difficult it can be to see a member, not see someone and they're raising their hand or they have a question. So I thank you for the seating. I think it's beneficial to us all. Thank you.
It is too. Thanks. Any other comments on the seating arrangements? Any other new business before the board? Vinny?
Sorry, it might
Trustee
be,
Capozio,
it might be old business, but the newsletter sign up, the way that was sent out was through Parent Square, so the people who signed up already, the people who already signed up received that notice. So is there any way we can do like a Q? I know we talked about the calendar, putting something on the calendar that goes out. Is there any way we can put like a QR code or just a notice that says there is this a newsletter that you can sign up for on the website, just to reach the other residents?
It's also on Facebook and Twitter.
Okay.
It also went out that way, but we can probably do something with a
We
QR
can
code.
on socials. We did talk a little bit about this last month up in New York City.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can get it in the next newsletter, because we're kind of far
No,
down that
just
path.
in general, yeah.
But we can consider how, other ways we can do that. But yes, we were able to transfer the existing list that we had when we first put that up into the Parent Square app, and then we can enroll people, anybody who signs up on the website. But we can come up with a QR code or something to let people have easy access to that newsletter in future mailed communications. It's a good idea.
Any other new business?
Yes, just continuing on the newsletter, actually a new issue. Currently, the policy provides for the board of trustees to review the newsletter. The newsletter goes out 4 times a year, right, every 3 months, but we only get to see the content on the layout 48 hours prior. I mean, as that newsletter is getting developed, is there a committee that handles that, or is it? How can we increase the trustee involvement in the production of the newsletter? Do you see how we can possibly increase the input of the trustees on the development?
If any trustee has ideas for the newsletter, you're welcome to send them to me. When I work with the VR firm, if it's the will of the board, then we can include them in the newsletter.
So there's no, you don't have an administrative committee that works on the newsletter?
I am the administrative committee that works on the newsletter.
So it's just you, puts that, the newsletter together?
And then when we come up with the topics with the PR firm, I reach out to whoever I need assistance from to get that information. So people do assist. I don't want to make it seem like I do that completely myself.
One question, how soon do you give the newsletter, the final draft to the PR? When does that happen?
There's a schedule for the news. Every newsletter creation has a timeline for all of the steps during the production process. And the notification to the board is part of that, as per the policy.
Per policy, we get to see 48 hours before. All right, thank you.
Any other new business?
Madam, I just want some clarification.
Sure.
Judith, I think I've seen you provide that in more than 48 hours.
As soon as I have the draft, then I put it in the next update. And then that's the update that you would get. And ever since I've done that, I have not had any feedback from the board except for the discussion we had in public to put the board meeting dates, which is something we're working on in this version.
I can confirm that you have provided it for 48 hours. I was just quoting the policy. The policy requires 48 hours prior to it. That's all.
But I think your point that there is any opportunity to communicate any requests about the newsletter to myself or the board president at any time. At all times, we are somewhere in the process of creating the newsletter at any given point in the year.
Any other new business?
Any slips this evening?
My goodness. Yes, ma'am. All right, well, I need a motion for executive because we did not finish the business before we came into this public meeting. And before we do that, I'd like to say goodnight to everyone. Thank you for coming. Congratulations to the new hires and the new positions in the old hires. If I could please get a motion for executive session.
No, it worked.
I make a motion to go into the executive session for legal advice with the attorney and the assistant superintendent.
Second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We will go back to the boardroom. Thanks again, everybody. Good night.